If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today I'd like to give a special thank you shout out to this episode's sponsor, and that is Carpe. Life can get sweaty, and Carpe keeps you dry. So David Spratt, co-founder, has lived his whole life with the embarrassment of sweaty hands. At the University of North Carolina, he met Casper Kubica through a shared scholarship program with Duke. The two bonded over always being the sweaty guys in the room. They started having ingredients and chemicals delivered to their dorm rooms and mixing concoctions. After a year and over 60 prototypes, they made something that worked for them. From that dorm room, Carpe was born. We have now helped over 1 million people live without embarrassing, uncomfortable sweat. Carpe has grown into a full line of antiperspirants for all over the body. Sweat care for everywhere. Sweaty palms, sweaty feet, sweaty underarms, sweaty face, etc. Carpe has a solution no matter where, no matter why, and no matter how much you sweat. So if you would like to learn more, go to https://mycarpe, CARPE.com. Again, that is https://mycarpe.com. You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Read a copy of my Boots formula in the new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action. Bootstraps and Bra Straps book is on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today we have special guest Linda Mitchell. Linda is a leading women's health expert, award-winning fitness competitor, best-selling author, top 50 podcast host, fitness boutique owner, and creator of the Sisterhood of Sweat brand. As a survivor of domestic violence, she was once physically beaten down and afraid of for her own life. Linda has made it her mission to empower other women by helping them take responsibility for their health so that they can be in their best shape physically and emotionally. She's a graduate of the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and Linda has worked with dozens of thought leaders such as Heidi Powell, J.J. Virgin, Natalie Jill, Louise Gittleman, Dr. Will Cole, Lori Shemek, and Elaine LaLanne. She has appeared on ABC, NBC, and Fox, and Linda has also written her own column, Fit Over 40, and has spoken on numerous stages, including Podfest and Women's Future Conference. All right, welcome to the show, Linda.
Thank you. So thank you so much for having me.
And this show started with my best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And this last 12 months, we have hit every single situation globally, and it has been really tough on all of us. So I'd like to start off by asking, each guest, if you have a story maybe you'd like to share with the audience of a time that you overcame a tough situation and how you got back on track.
Well, I would just have to say we can start with what was in my bio, but being in a domestic violence situation, you do learn how to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, though, if you leave your story behind, you learn how to thrive. And I think that really just, that whole dynamic, like, it isn't what happens to you in life, but it's what you do about it and what you become through it. And I've become a thriver. I'm not just a survivor. So when the pandemic hit, I understood that mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So I just basically started working and put my nose to the grindstone and threw out everything, like the old business model, because I have a gym and we had to close for over 3 months. So I just threw everything out the window that I had been doing before and said, okay, what can I do right now in this very moment? How can, I want to focus on what I could actually control.
Mm-hmm.
And that is connecting with my customer. And so I actually think through the pandemic, we did workouts on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
We created better connections. We're more connected than ever. And we didn't do that in person. We did it on camera through the Zoom.
Yes, nice. And that's a wonderful thing. It seems that once we've had a tough situation in life and we learn how to overcome the one situation, we can just handle anything that shows up pretty much easier. It's easier. It doesn't mean that the situations don't exist. We can't pretend like they don't exist at all because they affect everything. Yet it's just easier to get back on our feet again. Definitely. And I'm wondering now, do you have your gyms open where you're at already?
Yes, the gym is open, but we have continued, of course, the social distancing. So this has been a weird year. I didn't market the entire year. I never marketed because I wanted to keep just so that we could socially distance. I literally expanded during the pandemic though. Mm-hmm. So, next month we'll be opening up twice the space so that I can keep the social distance practice.
Mm-hmm.
But we also still do Zoom. I still do live streaming. So I'll continue keeping that model. A lot of people like being able to get on the live stream, do it later,
Mm-hmm.
or do it with me at home. They love that, or they don't even have to turn their camera on. So they kind of like that.
Yes. And I know for me, I'm actually in a studio that's in a gym at a country club. And where I live on a lake right now, my vacation home is at a lake, and we don't have working internet at the house. When the pandemic hit and I was up all night, I was actually doing a second hour on the bike at 2 a.m. So that may have contributed.
It revs you up, and you probably were like, I'm ready for the day now.
I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm so stressed. I'll go do a bike ride. And I would literally do a meditation, and they show all the different places, like different countrysides in Europe and the US and different places all over the world. And I would do this, like I'm riding, and I do the class, and then there'd be a 15-minute cool down or 20-minute you could do. And I'd go through the place, and I would do this prayerful meditation over all those people there. And that was my meditation in motion. I still do it, but now I do it earlier in the day. And it really helped me feel like I wasn't trapped inside. Obviously, I take walks outside, but my vacation home is in a desert. So there were times where it's either too hot or too cold to really, do a lot out there. And so that really helped my sanity.
Oh, for sure. One of the things I really have to say, I know I always try to find the bright side. They were calling me at the studio Pollyanna that flies around with glitter in has a touch of Tinkerbell. So because I always want to flip things to a positive, because you feel better. You feel way better if you can find the positive in every situation. And right now, the positive would be find that thing that you've always wanted to do that you've never had time for, and do it. And do it during this pandemic when you're cooped up in the house. I can tell you, I've done many things since we were, having to be on lockdown and unable to go places. We really had a pretty stringent lockdown here for a while. And I got certified at the Big Talk Academy. I joined Superconnector Media and did all sorts of things through them. That's why I'm on this with you today, Sheila. And I just did many things that I had not done. I'm doing this course right now to further what I can offer at my gym, and it's really cool. I'm going to be able to do tissue mineral analysis and blood tests. I'll be able to look at them and be able to say, oh gosh, you're missing this, you're missing that. You don't have to guess anymore about what supplements you should take. But I'm just saying, find that thing that you've always wanted to do and do it now while you've got time if you're stuck at home.
Yes, I love that. And, I think there was a time in my life where for 7 years I traveled full time. And I literally brought my youngest two. I have 6 children. I adopted 3 of mine. They're all mine, but 6. And so I traveled with the youngest 2 who were high school age, and they did college in the summer at Stanford. It was high school, college, and they traveled with me during the school year and did independent study. And we had a blast. And it was one of those things where my friends said, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, you shouldn't travel and they need to be in school. They learned so much. And it was the time of our lives. And I think now, I'm so grateful I took advantage of that time when travel was open and free and mask free and all that stuff. When I didn't know, it was I was invited to do and called to do, and we had a blast, and they definitely learned a lot. I'm a certified teacher as well, so they didn't not learn. And it was interesting because I look at this time the same way, as this is a time where we get to be with family, friends. It's a quiet season maybe in our life, but it's a time to take advantage, like you said, of those things we've always wanted to do that we need to be still a little bit for. So and we won't have this time again. My kids, the 2 youngest that are home with me, they're back from college because the dorms are closed, the schools are online only, and I'm loving every second of having them with me. And, and we have fun together and we laugh and we have a different relationship as a parent to an adult child versus a parent to a child, obviously. And so it's kind of like magic moments we would never have if we didn't have this universal pause. So take advantage of the good. It makes
There's so much good still if you look for it, right?
Yes, so much. Yeah. And I did lose my youngest son. He had a heart condition, Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. We almost lost him in 5th grade, and he passed away December 21st, 2019, right before all this craziness happened. We had a gift of having him extra time. And it happens to a small portion of the population, and you never know. He was asleep at grandma's house. He just didn't wake up. And that makes you cherish every single moment with your loved ones, your family, your friends. It makes you realize what really matters. And the good opinion of others, I don't give a flying duck. That's not important. The things that were important maybe before, you have a serious, and so many people have lost a loved one or have had a situation that's really been tough this last 12 months. And it just changes the focus and the direction, even for our young people, on what matters. They care about politics now. My young adults, my older children that are now married and this and that, they care about what's happening in our world so much more than just focused on career, which is kind of the way college and career, that's the way it is when you first start out. And now they're really involved. Before, I don't think they really voted, or they're like, okay, who should I vote for? Okay, whatever. It wasn't the same as now. And so I think there's so much to it. Now, I'd like to get back to maybe some tips. I know you did some competitive, what is it? When you do competitive?
Oh, like I did fitness competitions, bikini and figure, and Spartan races.
Oh, that is so interesting to me. And there's a lot of secrets that go with that. I'd love to hear maybe some healthy secrets that people don't know about how that works. When you're working on a competition and you're, getting into shape quickly, or to keep some of the muscle while you're losing some fat, and not like just lose fat and lose muscle too. Love to hear some of those secrets.
Well, food is your friend. And when you're doing something like that, you are focused. You write it down every single day in a journal, and you track what you're eating. Now, some people get crazy with the macros. I am more focused on what I'm eating, when I'm eating it, and how I'm combining it. So getting the proper amount of fats, protein, and carbohydrates, depending on where you're at in your journey for the competition stage.
Right.
But writing it down, number one, that is a game changer. You write down your goals, and then write down and track what whatever you measure and track, usually you succeed at. So you're going to track your food. And I just do it in a simple app online. And I don't count calories at all. I'm virtually just making sure that I'm getting the ample amounts of protein, carbs, fat, and then of course water. Your body is 70% water. You want to drink plenty of water because it flushes out the excess water that we carry. If you're 70% water, you really got to think about this. If you're eating a lot of salt, sugar, white flour, and toxins and all of that in your diet, you're going to carry a lot more water. And the more water you would drink, the more water you flush out. And it could be like a false fat on your body. So if you would drink a half a gallon to a gallon per day per 100 pounds of body weight, you would be surprised at how much leaner, thinner, your rings are going to be sliding around. You're going to notice that, oh yeah, I was carrying excess water. So that would be a tip. And then equally, whatever it is you're wanting to be able to wear that you're not wearing now, take a picture of yourself in it every Friday and send it to somebody that would horrify you. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a coach for a competition, but maybe you should get a coach, because a coach helps you fine tune and really step into things that maybe you don't know how to do, or you need an accountability, right? Having accountability is huge.
Yes, it does make all the difference. And the one time in my life that I really got into shape, I actually did hire a fitness trainer, and he's actually no longer with us. He passed away, but he had a picture. I met him in a Pilates studio, and he worked with a lot of celebrities in Hollywood. This was in Hollywood, California, and famous cheerleaders, all these famous people. And I was like, okay, well, tell me about what you do, and he was an instructor there part-time, and he'd have the people come in after they closed up, and they would let me stay. And so I said, I want to sign up. And he had a picture of himself with a pot belly, no muscle ever. You didn't see any muscle on his body. And it said it took 1 year, and he got on the cover of Muscle and Fitness magazine. And he got on twice in that 1 year. From not having, now men, it is a little easier for men to gain muscle faster, obviously, but he was such a loving soul because he wasn't in judgment. because he had actually walked those steps and knew the journey.
Right.
And so he walked his talk.
Right.
And it was, he told me, oh my gosh, you're not eating enough. You're eating the wrong foods.
Right. Usually you're not eating enough, and that's the problem.
A day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and I can't lose weight. What is going on? And it was like this whole switch of timing. It was a lot of exercise, a lot. And every single day where there was a different body part, you'd have to work. And
that's right. That's it. I didn't even mention that.
Yes. And then there was the resting, and then it was timed. The way he did it was timed protein. Like, and everything was measured, everything else, but it was like you'd have to have something with protein after you work out within 20 minutes in order to maintain the muscle while you're losing the fat, or else you'd be like kind of injuring the, like not be as helpful.
Well, you definitely have to make sure you're getting the appropriate amounts of protein and also fat, because it's healing to the joints. And carbohydrates are necessary, but you do not get to eat cake. I'll say that.
Yes. And it's funny, when I do eat cake, it never works out. This is the wild thing. So there I was, 800 calories a day. And he says, in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're going to get your metabolism up by eating this and doing these exercises in this fashion. And you're going to get up to 1,600 calories a day. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to gain so much weight. Well, I was starving by like week 2 and week 3, and I was losing weight. And it got to the point where I didn't have to think about it. I just followed this plan.
Right. It really, that's it right there. It's the lifestyle.
And when I followed it, it worked. And now I'm actually back on it now. So yay. So I found the old book and all the old things that he said, and I'll probably join your program so I can stay accountable with a good, fresh group. And, it's interesting though, because I didn't believe it was possible. And I think that's the important part, that no matter where you're at in this journey of wellness, it's not about even looks as much as feeling and for yourself, and that it is actually possible. It's like almost impossible if you really follow it to not have success. I couldn't believe it. I was totally shocked, but it was work.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's really important. What you're just hitting on is belief.
Mm-hmm.
Belief in yourself that you can accomplish it, because if you don't believe it, you won't put forth the effort that it requires to get there. And so I think belief is important, but one of the ways to start believing in yourself is to stop over promising and under delivering. So if you want to do something, make smaller promises to yourself that you can actually keep, so that you can build a relationship of trust with yourself. Because the reason why you might not be believing in yourself is you're telling yourself you're going to do X, Y, Z, and you're setting the bar so stringent to start that you can't quite make it over. So start smaller, yes. Start with a promise you can keep, and then start building upon that. And that's going to build trust and belief.
And if you have, I think it's really important to get a health checkup, check in with your doctor before you start anything or make adjustments. I mean, obviously, if you're going to like sugar and eat like vegetables, I'm sure you're okay. But for the most part, it's good to check in. If you have health conditions that may make it more difficult, like you said, fit over 40, there's a certain point in us ladies' lives where things slow down. Even if they're fast, they slow down.
Yes. You're preaching to the choir. I had some injuries that I really had to pay attention. I tried to live in denial, but that didn't work out too well for me. And so you learn that you can still move forward. You just have to move forward in a different way.
Mhm.
So, walk on the incline, burn a lot of calories that way. You're going to lessen the impact, or whatever it is you need to do. There's always a way to modify in your situation. And if it's rest you need, make sure you take it.
Yes. And there's this hormonal thing that happens at a certain age where things just metabolism slows down. And it's almost like you've got to do more to stay at the same place or keep up.
Actually, you have to do less. That's the myth.
Really? I'd love to hear. Let's hear more about this.
Okay.
This is important.
So, I'm 58. So what I found was I was doing, because of the competition lifestyle, I was doing way too much. And so my body really let me know. First of all, it let me know with injuries.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm not saying your typical working out stuff. I'm saying I was jumping through the air and flying into the splits and crazy stuff like that. My body let me know it wasn't having it. On top of everything else, a heavy workout load, like I was doing way too much. So, but what I learned just as a normal participant, and with all of my participants, once you hit a certain age and you get into menopause, you're not making estrogen, as and you may not be making any, but you're definitely decreasing it. And so you could not only have bone loss, but you can tear muscles much easier. So that would be one clue. Make sure you're not overdoing it. But equally, the thing with the estrogen is that used to absorb all your stress. Now you don't have that. So you're spiking cortisol because you're lacking estrogen. So the biggest weight loss tool I can give you is meditate, sleep more, make sure you're getting at least 8 hours of sleep. You walk away from arguments, because what happens if you're getting stressed or you're getting fright, or the fight or flight response, is you're spiking cortisol. And cortisol is what makes you, it can cause you to hold on to belly fat. It can cause you to gain weight. And also, like the injury that I had, it could cause that because it starts cannibalizing the muscle. So the biggest thing that I find with women is if they can maintain a healthy fitness level, and you could walk on an incline. You don't have to run. You actually burn more calories walking on a pretty high incline versus running. You can find ways to work out that your body isn't getting in that fight or flight response, because it's a lot easier to get into it when you're lacking that estrogen.
Now, how does that cortisol work for men? Men still have that same cortisol belly fat situation?
They get the same thing because they start losing testosterone. And for them, depends. They probably have a lot of stress at that time, at that age. They need to de-stress as well, and make sure, go to a doctor and have them test your levels, female or male, to see what your levels are and see how high is your cortisol. Because if your cortisol is through the roof, that number one would be why you're gaining weight and why you're unable to lose it.
Yes, that can keep you stuck. Wow. That would be terrible. And that could I could see that this year, or this last 12 months here, can totally do that to just about anybody. And they say, oh, COVID-20. Well, I think that has a lot to do with that, more than even sitting on the couch, because people still exercised and they may have had less success with the cortisol spiking up. I'm not sure.
Well, I think what you find, and what it's, you would start working out more, right? Because you think, oh gosh,
yeah,
it's harder now. I need to work out harder. I need to eat less.
Yeah.
No, it's the stress. It's the stress. So if you recognize that, because if you've already tried the other and it didn't work for you, it's like doing the same thing over and over is insanity, right? You're not going to get different results. So you have to let go of the notion that you have to work harder and realize, oh, my body, it needs less stress. So if my cortisol is high, I run. I'm a runner. I had to say, okay, I will still run. I won't run as long. I won't run as many times per week. And I'm telling you, when I would run too much, my belly would blow up. And when I stopped overdoing, it starts just flattening out. So I really think it really is a huge thing. If women really start paying attention to their stress and try to relieve it, that's the secret.
Right. Wow, that's pretty good. And what about the day of rest or resting different muscles? How do you incorporate that into workouts and life? I know a lot of men and women that they'll try to overcompensate, and all of a sudden they're like, oh shoot, I'm going to do so many arm exercises every day because I messed up and got off track.
Oh, right. I hear you. So that seems like a twofold question, but I'll try to answer the first one first. You really, well, first of all, you can't out-train a bad diet. So make sure you get a hold of your nutrition, because that's 75 to 85% of your results. And if you are in menopause or having hormone issues, that would be the first place I would start. Then, as far as working out, you at least should have 1 to 2 rest days a week. So where you could do an active rest if you're crazy, like you feel like, you could go walk, you could play some tennis with a friend. It doesn't have to be a focused workout, but you should be giving your body rest, because otherwise you're continually breaking it down, and the body needs rest so that it can perform at optimal levels. Mm-hmm. So that you can get muscle, so you can be lean. You have to give your body rest.
Right. Yes. And that even goes for your brain. Like neuroplasticity, I interviewed someone about this whole brain training and neuroplasticity. And we actually learn not in the classroom, not while we're studying really hard for a test. It's when we sleep, and it's the recovery time is when the actual neurons connect. And actually, your learning actually connects and works. Bless you. You're blessed.
I came here just for the blessing.
But that's so interesting that even our learning. So if you have children at home or young adults at home, they need an exercise, just like school gives them playtime, recess time. They need to have that break at home. Don't forget. And I've worked with parents over this last year that they're like, I don't know, my kids are always fighting, da da da. And we talked about it, and what they forgot was to play. They did
right.
Play. It was serious. It's like their business. Kids have got to study. They've got to eat. They've got to clean up. And they stopped playing altogether with all the stress going on. And I was like, that's all you need. Just play, and the fighting will disappear. And 99.9% of the time, that's it. The fighting disappeared. The grades went up because they need that time to exhale.
Oh my gosh, totally. And I want to add to that. I want to say, if you're in a relationship, because I think during COVID, it could go one of two ways. It could get better or it could get worse. And I don't know if there's any in between right now, but I would just say, if you could find some ways to have fun with your mate. Like, did you forget because you were so busy working and taking care of the kids and having a job and, trying to survive, to play?
Yes, I think that's beautiful. And it's so true. We're coming into Valentine's Day before you know it here. And it's so important for relationships, especially now, whatever relationship or even friendships, whatever's going on in your life, where you have fun, and make it light and fun, because things are kind of serious. And so we need that, especially around families, because the kids, they're going to feel it. Just if they hear mom and dad laughing, they're like, okay, it's good. We're going to have fun too. We can relax. It's not, not so much tension. They're not going to have so much cortisol. And it's going to make a big difference. So good. I love it.
It's something the other night had me laughing so hard when I tried to tell my girls at the studio about it. I couldn't even finish. I would start laughing. Then they started laughing. So laughter is very contagious.
Oh, that's wonderful. That sounds perfect. So it's done for you. That is incredible. So that's great. All right. Well, thank you again for being a guest on the show, Linda.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I hope that everybody benefits from some of our tips today.
All right, take care. And if you're listening in, stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today I'd like to share about our new sponsor, and this is a special thank you and shout out. So this is Obvi, OBVI, and their website is myobvi, myobvi, myobvi.com. So let me tell you a little bit more about them and why I love using their products. So everybody wants youth, and I just had my birthday, so I want to be youthful and even more youthful by next year. Now, as in this youthful feeling, ready, optimistic, energetic, in control, all expressed by that great big toothy grin. So being rebellious when it comes to the status quo, we asked ourselves, why do all the products that supposedly help us look and feel youthful seem so old, cold, and clinical? These dusty looking things made getting better seem like some awful chore. No wonder it was hard to get started. It was no fun. So in the beginning, Ovi thought they were making super high quality, crazy research products for younger people, and as it turned out, they were helping all kinds of people express a younger mindset. Over 200,000 people and counting, 40,000 plus of whom find massive support and encouragement in the OBVI community on Facebook. It's gratifying. 25 million times in less than 2 years, people like you have used the product to feel something we all want, to feel youth. All right, so they have some incredible products that do help. They have things as far as weight loss goes. They have collagen burn, detox, immunity boost. They have snacks, bundles, daily wellness. And so that's something that it's really made a difference for me, and I am very happy with this product. So check it out, and thank you again, Obvi, for being a sponsor for this show. And you can reach their website again at myobvi.com. If you are just tuning in, this is NBC's Sheila Mac Show here on KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and today I would like to give a special thank you and shout out to our sponsor, that is Riverside.fm. Let's talk about Riverside.fm, the leading podcast and video creation platform that I use to record my podcast. Alongside me, professionals like Guy Raz from How I Built This and companies such as Spotify and the New York Times use Riverside.fm to record their audio, video content remotely. I like Riverside.fm because I can record studio quality audio and up to 4,000 videos on their platform. If I'm interviewing a guest 1,000 miles away with the shakiest of internet connections, it still sounds like we're sitting in the same room. It is easy to use, as easy as Zoom, but gives much higher quality audio and video recordings. Other awesome features include options to record from your iPhone, a magic editor to easily edit with a series of simple clicks, and automatic transcriptions. So if you're looking for a hero platform for all your recording needs, from podcasts to webinars to other video content, you should be using Riverside.fm. Sign up today so you can focus on your content and leave the quality to Riverside.fm. It's the holidays, and I'm dealing with an overwhelming sense of grief that is secondary to the loss of my family members that occurred during the holiday season almost 2 years ago. I'm attempting to resume my family traditions with a smile on my face, but my heart is troubled and sad. I'm grateful for the numerous friends and my support network that I am blessed with. However, I'm hoping that you can offer some insight and suggestions to help me keep my healing heart in perpetual motion this time of year. Thank you. Sincerely, Blue Christmas. Dear Blue Christmas, I'm so sorry for your loss. Losing more than one family member during the holidays is very difficult. I can't imagine. And one of the things that has helped me get through holiday seasons, because I've lost quite a few family members myself, was to change my holiday celebrations, to celebrate my loved ones that have crossed over in a different way, gave me a new tradition. And that may help you as well. I'm not sure how you celebrate your holidays or how you did in the past, but save a place for them at the table, maybe have a ceremony for them and send them love, and then stop and pause for a moment before you plan your holidays this season and think about what, if they were living with you today now, what would they want for you as your relative? What would they want to see for your happiest holiday this year? For myself, with my children, I think what I would want for my children is for them to continue to celebrate and live their best life every day, including on the holidays. And I would appreciate their memories and thoughts of me. So I think that may help, and just forming new traditions, because whenever there is a life shift, whatever it is, divorce, or kids grow up and they have their own family units, they can't travel to see us, whatever it is, our holidays are going to shift over time. And grieving a loss of more than one loved one is the hardest, for sure. Yet these are things that are going to happen. And so to have a new form of holiday will make a big difference for you. I hope this helps. As always, I wish you life, love, laughter, and light. Thank you for listening to Dear Sheila. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and I wanted to take a moment to reflect on one of my favorite authors and quotes. The quote is, "Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you're ready or not to put this plan into action." And the author was Napoleon Hill. A little bit about what I do is I help people to reinvent, rebuild, and reboot their business and personal life on their terms. And so I do consulting, I have a book out, and I also have a radio and TV show.
Tehibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau de Arco Super Tea helps you build the red corpuscles in the blood, which can carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. A 1-pound package of tea is $34.95 plus shipping. To order, please visit lovemysupertea.com. That's love, L-O-V-E, my, M-Y, super, SUPERTEA.com. So the complete website is lovemysupertea.com, or call 818-288-4128, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, California time. That's lovemysupertea.com at 818-288-4128.
Holiday rules and traditions. So I raised 3 incredible children and then adopted 3 more. So this family of 6 diverse children, it was wonderful, and our holidays went well. For many years, we had the big Thanksgiving meal that everybody else has. And while we had elders that were still living and family and friends that were older that didn't have anywhere to go, we always had a big Thanksgiving, traditional Thanksgiving meal. And then we realized one day we had these family group discussions, and all the kids voted out the Thanksgiving meal. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, well, you know what? We want our mom. We don't want you to cook for 4 days straight. And we don't, we don't even like turkey, and we don't like the stuffing, and we don't like the bread. We don't like any of that food. And it was just this funny thing that we had. And a lot of our loved ones have passed on, crossed over, that were the parent elders, the grandparents who we entertained. And so then it was our own private Thanksgiving again, and we changed our traditions. We changed our traditions based on the fact that I didn't want to eat the food because I'm always on this wellness kick trying to get in shape or whatever, and the kids didn't want to eat the food. And I was like, okay, why am I spending money and time on food that nobody really wants and it's obligatory? It's like it's obligation that we have to do this traditional thing because that's what you do. Guess what? You don't have to do that. You can create your own traditions for your family based on your terms. It is morally neutral whether you serve turkey or not, or whether you have a big meal, or maybe you have a healthy meal and go do something fun. So we have different traditions now. We watch certain movies that we all choose, and we have fun meals. but but it's really not about the food. It's about the time together as a family for us. And everybody's Thanksgiving wishes or holiday celebrations, new families, guess what? Create it on your terms. Make it so that your family, you and your family enjoy the food, enjoy the people around you at that table, and enjoy this time of gratitude and Thanksgiving. We can make it what we want as a family or as a single person. Let this be your choice. This is your holiday, not based on these rules.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea helps you build the red corpuscles in the blood, which can carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. A 1-pound package of tea is $34.95 plus shipping. To order, please visit lovemysupertea.com. That's love, L-O-V-E, my, M-Y, super, SUPERTEA.com. So the complete website is lovemysupertea.com, or call 818-288-4128, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, California time. That's lovemysupertea.com at 818-288-4128.
You need a guide to show you how we get through a situation like this, to give you resources and to help you get out of the emotional pea soup fog of dealing with a crisis and the resulting fallout. I've been there, and I'm here to help you. Read a copy of my Boots formula in the new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action. Bootstraps and Bra Straps book is on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Why would you want to get married when you're not ready? Or, but it's a different thought process. And so when you're in a relationship and somebody's thinking, yes, we're going to get married because that's what you're supposed to do, and the other person's like, no, I'm suffocated, I don't want to do that right now. Now is not the time. And it may be your now, in that you don't want to be tied down to that model. Or if you find somebody that's completely free like you are, and you're like, hey, we can have fun and we can do this, and we have our agreements, you may jump into that relationship and be like, this is the best ever. But if you don't find something that aligns with where you're at in your life, it's kind of not being in integrity and honest with the other person. If you're pretending, I'm going to marry you, I'm going to show up, we're going to have this or that. So integrity, look at this. Yes. So integrity is everything. I mean, I don't know, as a woman, I think it's really important to just be honest about things when you go into relationships.
A lot of people, though, when you say that, they think, oh, I can change him. I can change her. And
Yes.
I can change myself. I can't change you.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people start getting into this whole, maybe I can change him, maybe I can change her, you're not in it for the right, you're not in the relationship for you.
Exactly.
You're in it for, you're not in it for them, you're in it for you.
That's right, because the essence of the person, who they're being, who they show up as on this planet, that's the beauty in them. That's the part that you love about them. And if you don't let them or want them to be who they are, then you're loving a fantasy person. That's not your person.
Exactly.
So, yes, it's really important. And there are people that align that, they want freedom, and they have a wonderful companionship and fun, and that's what they want. So, success in a relationship is a different definition. If you surveyed 1,000 people, it'd be different. So to have two people attracted to each other that align on that, come together, it takes time. And I love that, though, honesty and integrity. So when I mapped out the Boots formula and the outline to this book, I made sure that I included a support community of friends so that we can all share our stories, inspire and empower one another, just like that beautiful community that's carried me through all these years. And so here it is, my latest book. I have to let you know something, just between you and me. This book is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation.
Thank you for tuning in to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest, where we share real situations with real solutions to help you rebuild, reinvent, and reboot your life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac. I'm giving you some homework. Grab a copy of my bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, to learn the formula to go from rock bottom and back into action in any situation. If you have a burning question for the show, send it in to www.dearsheila.com. Tune in again Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. If you are just tuning in, this is the Sheila Mac Show here on NBC's KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. I'm your host, Sheila Mac, and I want to give a special thank you shout out to our sponsors, CEI Trucking and the Raw Truth Podcast. I have been enjoying listening to the Raw Truth, Stories of Female Infidelity podcast. Human lives follow many paths, presenting twists and turns and choices never planned, never expected. Temptation, anger, depression, and loneliness can all lead a person to a mistake they can't take back. Or was it a mistake? Facing judgment and isolation, a person can feel very alone. There are the voices of women who have chosen to cheat on their spouses or partners. So this podcast is the raw truth, stories of infidelity. And I think everyone that is interested in hearing more of these stories should tune in to the Raw Truth podcast. All right, if you are just tuning in, this is the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms.